Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Welcome back to episode 5 of your People, Your Success podcast. It's been a while since the last episode because I've been very busy with professional commitments and travel abroad. But really happy to be back with this fifth episode. And yes, I was almost missing it. I started to get used to do those regular podcast episodes. I really enjoy doing them, in fact, and really happy to be back to talk about a very important topic. This topic is about how to successfully onboard your team through training. We'll see why it's important and how to successfully onboard your people through this powerful tool, which is training. Before I get started, feel free to subscribe to my podcast channel on Spotify or on YouTube. Feel free to turn on the episode notifications on Spotify. Give me a 5-star ranking if you enjoyed this episode or the episodes before. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to give any comments you would like to share your thoughts or ask me any questions. Without further ado, let's get started with this very interesting topic. So, successfully onboarding your team. Before I go through the subject of training, I think it starts with the correct mindset. Onboarding and that induction period that most businesses call probation period, it's not only about assessing, about checking the performance and seeing if the employee is the right fit. It's also about supporting, giving the right tools to that new employee so they have everything in order to succeed. And if you don't have that mindset right from the start, you can't make that onboarding successfully, because your mindset as a manager, as a leader, as a company will impact the different actions and the way you are welcoming that new employee. And that's actually where most part of the time some businesses fail to just follow the topic of that episode. They will not provide training during the induction period, during that onboarding, because for them, induction is all about assessing, checking the performance, seeing if the employee is the right fit. But one simple question, how can the employee be the right fit if you haven't provided the correct environment, tools, support, and training in order to do so? Once you realize that, then you can sit down and ask yourself as a manager, or ask yourself and your colleagues as a business, what type of training we would like to give to our new employees. Do we need to train them on the values and mindset, which will be the next topic we will cover? Do we need to train them on something specific, technical to the job? Any specific customer service training, leadership training, if it's new managers that you are hiring, etc., etc. So really sitting down and asking yourself, what type of training would I like to provide to those new employees within the first weeks? You're also sending the right message by doing that. Because let's say you're training a new employee on something they know already about. It's a great reminder, which is always good to confirm the things you're doing well and to be reminded by the company on what matters to them. And also to build that confidence. Oh, I have the skills, the soft skills to match with the company requirements. But you're also sending the correct message. I care for your development. I care for your success. I care for giving you all the right tools in order to succeed. And I'm allocating time and resources to do that. It's not just a tick box exercise. It doesn't matter if you think they should know already about those things, so let's not train them. Well, first of all, like I just said, do not overestimate the power of reminding your people on the things that are important to you, mainly when it comes to onboarding. Also, it's sometimes not necessarily about only teaching them new skills or reminding them. It's also about sending the right message, because through training, you are sharing your values, your vision, you are sharing who you are as a company. And this is beyond valuable. So now let's go to point 2, values and vision. You want to use onboarding and the training you deliver through onboarding to share your own values and your own vision as a company, where you want to get to. What values are making your company's culture? What values are making you stand out as a company? What values and vision will get that new employee to follow you, to respect your brand, to do things on a daily basis, not because they have to, but because they want to. This is beyond important, beyond valuable, and it's really important to take time to do it. For those who think, again, I don't have time, this is not important enough, well, this is the real difference between having employees who do their job to get a monthly salary, comparing to having employees who do their job to also have a monthly salary, but also because they are committed. They believe in what you do. They're passionate about it sometimes even. And they do those things because they want to do it. So they really turned from the start into real brand advocates, real brand followers. This is what you want to have for your company. So focus on the values, focus on the vision. Point 3 that I would like to cover is the importance of soft skills. Most part of the time when we focus on onboarding our new employees, we directly think about those hard skills. What are the technical skills I want them to know in order to be ready for the job, to be ready to do their daily tasks and duties, so they are performing the way they should, etc., etc. This is really important, and most of the time it's covered pretty well. And I totally agree, you need to give enough training on that. And don't expect them to learn on the job. No, they need to have enough training, monitoring, feedback, support from the leadership, etc., etc., in order to assimilate those hard skills and to be able to do the job successfully. But you can't overlook the soft skills: communication, leadership, conflict management, personal development, learning how to give and take feedback, learning from mistakes, how to conduct courageous conversations, either with clients or team members, customer service, which is all about soft skills. All those points of focus are really, really important, mainly when it comes to onboarding. You want to give time, to allocate time to train your team on those soft skills, at least on the ones which are the most important. Like Isadora Sharp, the founder of Four Seasons, say, which, by the way, I love to always include in my podcast. The skills you can teach later, but the mindset and the attitude is something you want to get right from the start. Of course, it comes down to recruiting the right individual, but it also comes down to teaching those soft skills right from the start to shape the attitude, the approach, the mindset of your new employee, the way you would like them to be in your company. So they are matching with your values, they are matching with your approach, and they are actively participating in making your work environment the right one. They are communicating the right way with their colleagues. They are not spreading any blaming culture. They are team players. They have the right approach, either internally or with customers. They learn from their mistakes. They're always aiming for continuous improvement, etc., etc., etc. Those topics, when it comes to training during onboarding, are beyond important. The other thing I will say, when it comes more generally to the onboarding, is to not only put it on the employee. The manager needs to be not only the person to assess and check, but also the person to support. The right point of contact for the employee to come to if they need anything. Part of training is also assessments and performance review. Whatever processes you have in place internally when it comes to assessing the performance of the new employee include things in terms of how well you did, but also on, okay, here you didn't do as well as you should have done. What can we do to change that? Not pointing fingers, but instead seeing what you can do to help the employee. Is there anything specific you can do to retrain? Can you spend more time with the new employee on something specific so they learn it better? Can you do some more practice, role play, etc.? This is really important. But coming back to those processes when it comes to assessing and reviewing performance, something very easy I recommend all managers to do is informal one-to-ones weekly between the manager and the new employee. You do it every week for the first 12 weeks. That informal chat that you will have on a weekly basis will be the best way to build relationship, build trust between the new employee and the manager, discuss progressions, discuss difficulties, but do it in an environment where they don't necessarily feel assessed. They don't have that pressure. It's going to be more of an environment where they have that safe space to express themselves. And therefore, they will feel that the things you will tell them as a manager will be more to support them rather than to assess them. And that can make a huge difference. You can also implement a buddy system. That buddy system will be something where within each team you have one buddy as an employee, one buddy as a manager that are the point of contact for those new employees if they have anything. And the good thing is that if you do it with another employee, like team members, non-managerial roles, they will be more likely to open themselves, to share their thoughts. They will be less afraid to be assessed. They can talk to someone who will not necessarily assess them on their performance as much as a manager. So they will be more likely to open up and to have that safe space. That could be a very good option. And then that buddy can spend time to report anonymously the feedback from the new employee on the things that they have difficulties with, they're not really confident in telling the manager. They could receive that quick advice, feedback, support from that team member, more available than the manager as well, because managers are busy, without being afraid to be told, oh, you should know that already. Because let's be honest, when you start a new job, there's a lot of things to learn. And you may not be able to tick all the boxes, but probably that's part of the process as well. So it's a way of making that induction process powerful, effective, but not too strict neither. And making it more effective when it comes to accompanying and supporting the new employee. But also remove a little bit of weight from the managers and from the new employee as well. Last, but definitely not least, find the right way to train your team. If you're a very busy company, if the job of your team members is very operational or hands-on, such as hospitality, you may not have the time to do in-person training. So do you have the right platform in place, the right online modules to train your team accordingly? So they can just do those modules whenever they have time, at the end of their shift, etc. But they can also do it in a calm and peaceful moment. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's hard to gather everybody in the same room to do those training, mainly during onboarding. And you may not have enough new team members to put everybody in the room together and pay someone externally to do it for you. So sometimes doing it digitally can be the right option. So it's really important to think what will be the best option for us as a company to be able to train them as much as we should without making it unrealistic. And sometimes those online modules can be the best option. Once the new team member is fully onboarded, you may want to do in-person training with the rest of the team. You may also want to keep having online modules that are bespoke, matching with your needs, interactive, engaging, so the team members can do them on a continuous basis. Because again, you don't want to give an amazing induction for that new employee and then just have nothing after that. No training, no support. So you kind of like do it very well at the start, but then it doesn't follow up. You want that consistency. You want to be accompanying your team members in the long term, as if onboarding was a continuous journey throughout your company. Probably that's how you keep your employees performing, productive, happy, and loyal. And you definitely want to tick those 4 boxes. That's it for me. It's been a short one, but straight to the point, which I really like. Hope you enjoyed it. The last point I will say on this topic is that in order to make the best impact on your business performance, it starts indeed with your people. And it needs to start from day one. It cannot start once you are sure that this employee is the right one. Because guess what? This employee will only be the right one if you're doing your part of the job as a company. Thank you all very much for listening to me. It's been a pleasure being back to Your People, Your Success podcast. Looking forward to the next episode that will be about a very interesting topic with a guest that I'm very much looking forward to. As always, I like to keep it secret. It's always more interesting, and I'll be sharing it, of course, closer today on social media. Like I said, feel free to give me a 5-star ranking on Spotify if you enjoyed this episode and the one before. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to both my YouTube channel and Spotify if you'd like to know more about what I do at Beyond Satisfaction in terms of training. Feel free to visit my website. That will be on the link under this episode in the episode description. You can book your discovery call and access all the different courses I provide, or just know more about Beyond Satisfaction if you're curious. Thank you all very much again. Looking forward to seeing you for the next episode. And in the meantime, take care.